Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. So let's get into this topic here. I want to talk in reverse. So yesterday, the Los Angeles Lakers played against the Sacramento Kings, and they were victorious in that game. I was watching bits and pieces of it. I really paid attention more to the first quarter than the second quarter, and then from that point forward, my attention just began to taper off, and I was watching the game with the Clippers to see if Kawhi was going to have a career high, which in fact he did, scoring 55 points. But as I was watching the Lakers game, it became pretty apparent to me that, number one, the Sacramento Kings are not a very good team. They were trying their best in the first half, but things just weren't really working out for them. And it's one of the reasons why they haven't won 10 games this season. And they're sitting on 24 losses and 8 wins. But nevertheless, the Lakers needed to get that win after the whole talk that went down, which is really now where I want to get to. So over the last 3-4 days, there's been a lot of headlines coming out of Los Angeles as it pertains to the Lakers. And JJ Redick made a lot of news when he had a post-game conference, and he said that, practice is going to be uncomfortable. These guys are not serious, blah, 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 blah. They're not professionals. It's like they don't care, and blah, 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 blah. And everyone reacted to that. But then the following day, these comments came out, I believe, on Saturday during their practice, where JJ Redick essentially said that the offense has just been totally discombobulated since the return of LeBron James. And by him mentioning LeBron James, a lot of people out there that are LeBron supporters became very upset with JJ Redick. And one of those people is a longtime supporter of LeBron James, Shannon Sharpe. So when this topic was brought to the attention of Shannon Sharpe and Chad Johnson on Nightcap, in typical fashion, Shannon Sharpe almost crashed out after hearing JJ Redick say this about his king, LeBron James. So these are the comments that we want to focus on today. All right, so what we want to do is we're going to play what Shannon Sharpe had to say in response to JJ Redick's comment, and then we're going to come back and continue on. Take a listen to Shannon here.
Joe, JJ Redick may have taken a shot at LeBron, saying the Lakers, have been unorganized since his return. Since we've gotten Bron back, we haven't been organized offensively. Too many random possessions. That's on me. It's those three things: defensive clarity, role clarity, and offensive organization. We don't need no defensive clarity. You don't have anybody that can play defense other than Marcus Smart. Luka can't play defense. Austin Reeves can't play defense. LeBron is at the age he can't play defense. Rui is not a defensive guy. DeAndre Ayton is not a defensive guy. You got guys that aren't defensive guys. That's not your identity. Yeah. So who you saying defensive clarity? You don't need no clarity. It's crystal clear for me. You can't play defense. Yeah. You got 3 offensive guys, and you try to outscore. They're getting layups. Look, come on, man, stop.
Yeah, hey, listen. Yeah, I mean, you're better suited to be able to talk about that in general, but I do understand based off what I've seen and what I've learned about the game now that I've had to pay attention to it because we talk about it more. I understand it now, and I see that they're off of the team. And I know one thing: if they do start playing defense, if Luka and Rui and goddamn LeBron start playing defense and putting in that effort on the defensive end, something has to give, and it's gonna give with your offensive production. Your offensive output ain't gonna be the same.
And you had Rui trying to guard Kevin Durant. Okay, that's going to zap all of his energy because guess what he gave you on offense? Nothing. Yeah, he tries. I mean, he's a try-hard guy, but that's not what he is. Rui is a knockdown, and he's turned himself into a knockdown guy, spot up because other guys getting doubled. But you got to understand what you have. You don't have a defensive team, and defensively is really mindset. Luka has never played defense. You're never going to get him to play the defense to the level that's really acceptable. You just look at, because at the end of the night, he's going to have 40, 15, and 12. And so you overlook that his guy had 28. Or you overlook the fact that his guy had 30 because he's outscored him and did so many other things. But Luka's not going to play defense. Austin Reeves can't play. It's not going to play. He can't. He just can't. They can play defense to a certain extent, but to the level that you're a championship contending team, it ain't happening.
Yeah. Hey, listen, they not gonna play defense like they the goddamn
the bad boy Pistons
or OKC.
No, but look what OKC got. Look at them guys. Them guys are under the age of 25.
Oh, yeah. That's what I mean.
And they have role guys. They understand their role.
Right.
He did say that, a role clarity. Okay. Tell me what you want. Okay. Luka's going to handle the ball most of the time. Luka cannot play after the ball. So he has to have the ball in his hand the majority of the time. Clear. Got it. Yeah. Austin Reeves. He's going to have the ball the second and most of the time. LeBron James is really the best equipped to really play off the ball. He's not your third option. Okay. So when two of those guys are off the court, then what's the role clarity? Do what? You got guys that can't do a whole lot.
Excellent. So you heard what he had to say. What are my thoughts about this? First of all, Shannon defending LeBron is his default position. No one is really surprised at that. I am surprised, however, that it seems as if Shannon Sharpe seems to be unaware of the impact that LeBron is having on his team this season. A stat came out the other day, which essentially said that LeBron was minus 59 on the season to Austin Reeves plus 54. Luka Doncic is plus 25 to LeBron's minus 59. And although LeBron had a plus 20 yesterday, all of those guys play well, so all the box plus minuses were going to be positive. He hasn't been as good as Shannon Sharpe and his supporters seem to believe. Now, in terms of JJ Redick's comments, but this is true though. The offense has been discombobulated since the return. Who, if you're watching these games, who feels like that's not the case? And the clearest example of this are the numbers of Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves is averaging about 18 points per game over the last 5 games. 18. We're talking about a guy that was averaging damn near 29 points a game. A guy that scored a 50 ball earlier this season to now he's averaging 18 points per game over the last 5 or 10 games. So that right there should tell you that some of those guys are having a struggle. Now, Luka is just going to get his offense regardless. Luka Doncic is not waiting for anybody. If you're here, great. If you're not here, that's your damn business. I'm going to shoot the ball. But what JJ said was true, but he didn't just say that. He also spoke about an offensive identity, players needing to improve their defense and all of that. But Shannon Sharpe, once again, the minute he hears LeBron's name, and he wasn't the only one. A lot of people crashed out over the weekend over JJ Redick mentioning LeBron's name. He wasn't the only one, but I thought it was pretty interesting to see him come to the defense of LeBron James. As you guys know, JJ Redick has made a lot of headlines over the last 3-4 days for what he said after the Lakers lost. Who did they lose to? Who did the Lakers lose to? I can't remember who they lost to, but they lost the game that on Christmas Day. I just can't remember the opponent, but anyway, they lost that game. And then obviously he made some more comments on Saturday during the Lakers practice, where he essentially said that the Lakers offense has been basically totally discombobulated ever since the return of LeBron James. But prior to that practice, a lot of people were focusing on JJ Redick's comments where he essentially said that Saturday's practice, the film sessions, is going to be very, very awkward. Now, over the weekend, I came across some sound here from DeAndre Ayton. Now, as you guys know, DeAndre Ayton has a reputation of being very, 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 very immature. But I never really paid much attention to him because he was playing for the Phoenix Suns at one point or whatever. But now that he's a Laker, I'm kind of forced to pay attention to what this guy has to say. So I came across a clip on my phone, a video of him talking about JJ Redick and some other things, but the sound was so low that I remember doing a live the other day and I tried to play his comments, but I just couldn't play because it was just so low. Well, apparently they were able to hunt down the audio of this guy, and essentially the media was asking him, hey, so how did the practice go? JJ said it was going to be pretty uncomfortable for you guys. And in typical DeAndre Ayton fashion, man, not only did he make an absolute fool of himself, but he totally disrespected his head coach, JJ Redick, in the process of that. Okay, So what we want to do is I want to play the sound here. It's a very short video, I think maybe 20 seconds or so. I want you guys to listen to this guy's talk, and then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen in here.
Your coach told us he planned for it to be a bad day. He said it'd be an uncomfortable day for the team.
And y'all bought into that.
At least listen to him.
Y'all told him. Believed him. I'm not going to tell y'all. I'm not saying anything.
Excellent. So you heard what he had to say. Now, I also have, there was in that video that I heard that you couldn't really hear the sound, they asked him, how are things going with the Lakers? Because at that point, I think they were on a 3-game losing streak. The media was criticizing them heavily. They were searching for answers. And then this guy says, oh, the Lakers, man, everything is great. He says, whether we lose, if we win, we're doing great. If we lose, we're doing great. He's like, life is great, man. You're playing for the Los Angeles Lakers. Life is great. And I said to myself, those comments prove to me, number one, why a lot of the things were said about him in the past. And number two, if I was a Lakers president or general manager and I heard those comments, I'm trading him immediately. You do not need a player on your roster saying those kind of things. That was just like the final straw for me. I was like, bro, like they need to get rid of this dude. And he's not going to be a Laker going into the future. He's just not. But I'm going to get to the part about him saying that to the media. And there's been this kind of conversation out there that the Laker players don't respect JJ Redick. And to that, I have to say this. Who will the Lakers respect? Who will LeBron respect? Who will Luka respect? Who will these guys, Aiden and all, who are they going to respect? First of all, we go all the way back to Frank Vogel. He wasn't the right guy, although he ended up becoming a championship coach. They don't respect him. He lost the locker room. Then they got Darvin Ham. Well, we all know how that went, right? We saw how Darvin Ham was being disrespected by the players, LeBron and all. We know that, right? Darvin Ham is a numbskull. He doesn't really know what to do. Although the Lakers got better results under Darvin Ham than they do under JJ Redick in terms of postseason runs. So they got rid of Darvin Ham. Then they were like, oh, they got JJ Redick. Well, JJ Redick, there were reports, oh, he's going to be the next Pat Riley and blah, 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 blah. JJ is the man. JJ is the man with the plan. Oh, my God, they love JJ. He's a basketball savant. He watches footage at the car wash. Like, JJ is so intense, man. He's so passionate. And then now all of a sudden we're hearing that the Lakers don't respect JJ Redick. Then you have players, starters, on the team coming out here and making these comments, right? And to me, what this then says is that the Lakers have a problem with either the coaches that they hire or the players that they're signing. But somewhere there's a breakdown. When you have crop after crop after crop after crop of players who don't seem to respect the chain of command in terms of their head coach, you have an organizational issue, right? It's either you guys don't hire the right coaches or you're going after the wrong guys. But I think it more so has to do with the players themselves and the cues that they get from their leaders versus the organization. If you look at players like, teams like the Miami Heat, LeBron played there. You were forced to show respect. D-Wade was forced to show respect. Greg Popovich, he was the man of that team. But the Lakers, for whatever reason, these guys don't seem to respect him. And I'm beginning to believe it's the players at this point. Because can it be the coach? How many coaches? So who do you need? Who do you need to coach this team for them to be like, yeah, okay, we respect. You want Phil Jackson? Who do you want? Who do you want? Probably Phil Jackson is the only guy. Maybe Eric Spoelstra. Greg Popovich isn't coaching anymore. Obviously, Phil Jackson is not going to coach him. So who are they going to listen to? And Ayton's comments just gives you a snapshot of what these guys think in the locker room. Right? It's, as I said, I don't think Ayton should be there for the foreseeable future. I really don't believe so. But these comments they're very disrespectful. And now you have certain voices in the media basically advocating for JJ Redick to not be respected by the players. And I'm like, what's going on here? The guy's trying to hold his players accountable, and now all of a sudden you don't want him to. And the part that kills me is that This is coming from the same people that were calling JJ Redick the next Pat Riley. These are coming from the same people that were kissing his butt just a year ago. It was all good just a year ago. Just a year. Like, you can't take these people seriously. Just a year ago, when JJ signed with the Lakers and they knew it was LeBron's guy, they were telling you how great JJ Redick was. Then the minute he calls out LeBron, all of a sudden JJ Redick is arrogant. He doesn't know what to do. But y'all picked him. Y'all was up there twerking it up for him. Y'all were the same ones talking about Darvin Ham as a numbskull. He's so dumb, blah, 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 blah. Well, you got you a coach now that your man wanted, and all of a sudden y'all don't respect him, man. I don't know what to say, man. Viewers send me messages all day long, right? All day long. And I think it was like 2 days ago, probably, someone sent me a video of LeBron James flopping. So I clicked on the video and I started watching it. And of course, it's disgusting to see, right? And I think on one of the videos was like, yeah, this is the guy that says he could play in the 80s and the 90s. And then, you know how it works when you watch a particular video on Instagram, all of a sudden they start recommending these videos. So I started watching a whole bunch of these LeBron videos. And then my mind kind of went off from it. Then I was on the internet yesterday and a video from Choke No Joke pops up on my YouTube timeline. And he goes, LeBron James is a fraud. I'm like, what? Choke No, I can't remember, I can't say his damn name. Choke No Joke. He's a hip hop guy, right? How did LeBron end up in this conversation? He's talking about what went on with Diddy and Suge. Like, he's a hip hop guy. So I click on his video to hear. I'm like, what's this hip hop guy got? Like, how did LeBron enter, you know, the picture here? And he's talking about LeBron's flopping, and he's going off on him. He's like, y'all call him the GOAT. He's like, he was like, I think he didn't say a GOAT. He's a goat milk or something. Like, he was just going off on him. So I then had to go back online and go watch some of these LeBron like flopping highlights or whatever you want to call them. And I was like, yo, we got to talk about this, because people always leave the comments of flop and all of this. But for him to say that, like, it must be that this flopping really bothers a lot of people. So what I want to do is I want to play a video for you guys. It's a quick compilation of some of the most egregious flops that LeBron has pulled off. And then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a look at this footage here. Great. So you saw the footage. What are my thoughts about this? For a lot of people, they feel like this kind of behavior is disrespecting the game. Like, it's like you're cheating the game. You're gaming the game, so to speak, right? Other people feel like it's unbecoming of a player like LeBron James. Now, you saw the flopping. It's disgusting. Like, it's disgusting. And some of his fans say, well, everybody does that. No, that's not true. Flopping got so bad, I think now you can get fined for flopping. Or get, no, not fined, a technical foul or something, something like that, right? Where it's becoming too much. But in this particular instance, it's kind of part of what LeBron's game is. And it's also part of his legacy. The flopping really speaks to a larger issue, which is like you're trying to manipulate the game. You're not playing it with integrity, right? That's essentially what it means. It means You're not playing basketball with integrity. You're playing it as a way to kind of cheat the refs, circumvent the rules, and manipulate it to work in your favor. But it's also important to say this, though. Although flopping has become LeBron's legacy, a major part of it, he's not the only one. I'll say this, though. If you look at his teammate, Luka Doncic, Luka doesn't flop like LeBron, but he's a foul baiter. And it's just as bad. No, LeBron's is worse because he's a 6'8", 9" guy, whatever, 260. But Luka's is also bad too. All right, Luka foul baits a lot. And maybe I would say 30% of Luka's offense, 35, even 40% of his offense is based off of drawing fouls that are just driven by foul baiting. And some people don't like that as well. Luka's always searching for the whistle. You seldom see Luka just play through contact, and that's it. He's always crying for the whistle, and that's become a part of his game. Obviously, that's a part of Austin Reeves' game. SGA has been criticized for that, calling him the free throw merchant, and so many other players. But it's also a byproduct of the league that we find ourselves in. The NBA rewards this because they put such an emphasis. God damn. I don't know who the hell that is. Maybe one of them flies from Clutch Sports. Who knows? Anyway, they put so much of an emphasis on offense that they're rewarding players for this bad behavior. They are. I was watching the game. Was it the Clippers game or the Lakers game last night? I don't remember which one. I think it was the Lakers game. And there were so many and one calls at one point. You're like, even the commentators were like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is ridiculous. Why are there so many and ones being called here? Like, this is absolutely absurd. But that's the game today. This is the NBA that these guys prayed and hoped for. In terms of LeBron's flopping, look, there are a lot of people that don't respect LeBron for a lot of things, but this is one of them. I don't think some people realize how much of a deal breaker the flopping is. I mean, and it's almost like, why are you doing this? Like, in the way that he does it, it's like there's no shame in my game. I'm just gonna flop because I can, and we're gonna be out here flopping and doing backflips because that's just what it's gonna be. And I think that is definitely unbecoming of him. This damn fly that got in here somehow is distracting the hell out of me, and I don't know what to say. So yesterday, the Lakers were able to secure a victory against the Sacramento Kings. They got 125 to 101 victory against the Kings, halting their 3-game losing streak. And now I think the Lakers are kind of back on course. But obviously, we have to take that one with a grain of salt because the Kings are one of the worst teams in the West and one of the worst teams in the NBA. And they're one of the few teams that don't even have 10 wins on the season. But now the Lakers are going to play the Detroit Pistons, and I'm sure they're going to be out for blood, given the fact that they just lost to the Clippers last night, and they're going to be playing the Memphis Grizzlies 2 times in a row. If I look at Memphis, okay, they're 9th seed, so they're still a below 500 team, but they're better than the Sacramento Kings at the very least. And then the Lakers are going to play the Pelicans, who have no threat. And then, of course, they're going to have the Spurs, the Bucks, the Kings again, the Hawks, the Hornets, the Blazers, the Raptors. And then they'll play a stretch of some pretty decent teams like the Raptors, Nuggets, Clippers, Mavericks. And then we'll see how things go then. But nevertheless, they were able to get a much-needed victory last night. But going into that game, there were a lot of things being said. But the most recent comments from head coach JJ Redick were the ones that were the comments that really had everybody talking. We did a live about it on Sunday, yesterday. Right? Yeah, yesterday was Sunday. We did a live about it on Sunday. I'm just so tired, man. I'm already mentally checked out for the year. I'm ready to go. I'm tired, right? So anyway, we did that, and everyone was reacting to it. We put up some pretty keen numbers, pretty revealing stats, showing LeBron's like minus 59 on the season, where Austin Reeves was plus 57, Luka Doncic was plus 25. So we kind of did all of that, right? But anyway, I came across a clip from Amazon Prime, their NBA segment, and I think they had Rudy Gay, John Wall, Taylor Rooks, I think is her name, and Dwyane Wade. Now, as you guys know, Dwyane Wade is a former teammate of LeBron James, championship teammate, knows LeBron pretty well. And they were asking him to kind of react to some of the comments that the coach was saying and defensive effort and all of that. And Dwyane Wade basically laughed him off and said, LeBron is more focused on his golf swing than what JJ Redick is talking about. I'm like, yeah. So what we want to do now is want to play what Dwyane Wade had to say here in response to some of the chatter around JJ Redick and LeBron James. And want to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to Dwyane Wade here.
Where do you all feel LeBron is in all this? You know, obviously seeing your head coach, if you're talking about effort and execution, I'm sure LeBron has thoughts himself on it as well.
I'm 23 years in. Like, I'm gonna give you the best I can, but like, be realistic. What more do you really expect from me? Like, I'm 23 years in. You know what you're gonna get from me. I can't be the same LeBron that was in the passing lane or guarding the best player on the other end. I'm gonna give you some effort plays. Some nights I might not have it, but that's what you have those other guys for. They supposed to come in and pick that load up for him. So he looks himself in the mirror like, yeah, I'm not the same LeBron I want to be, but they already know that.
I still take him on my team.
Nah, for sure. I think anybody would.
And Brian on his golf simulator right now.
What he ain't doing?
He working on that, getting that under.
Practice. I am practicing.
But he said that
Don't worry about this.
They asked him about somebody. He say, listen, I don't know. I'm watching YouTube golf. I'm watching people get their little swing going.
Excellent. So you heard his commentary. So what are my thoughts about this? I think what D. Wade said is probably a general sentiment out there. LeBron doesn't give a damn about what JJ Redick is talking about. LeBron ain't moved by what JJ Redick is talking about. LeBron doesn't care for a number of reasons. Number one, LeBron is an egomaniac, right? He's an egomaniac. That's the first part. The second part is this. A lot of people feel like LeBron is the one that got JJ the job. So it's like, bro, I got you the job. Like, you ain't like, this is we're co-coaches out here, bro. You're not telling me anything. Number three, I'm LeBron James. You're not telling me anything. If I don't want to do anything, I don't want to do anything. And LeBron exhibited that on multiple occasions this year where, number one, you saw him laughing on the sideline during the game. JJ's calling him. LeBron is not answering. That's number one. Number two was when he took that technical free throw at the end of that game. Was it against the Phoenix Suns when I think it was supposed to be Luka or someone else was supposed to take that shot, or Dalton Connect. I don't remember who, or Reeves. I don't remember the player. And JJ was like, yeah, I don't know what happened there, right? LeBron was just like, yo, I'm going to take this shot if I want to. That's a power move. He basically showing him like, yo, I'm still me. And you can think you're doing something on here, but you're not doing nothing. I'm that dude, and it is what it is. Dwyane Wade is basically saying like, bro, ain't nobody checking for JJ Redick, man. LeBron is going to do what he wants to do, bro. And the way he said it in such a nonchalant way, like, he ain't worried about him, pretty much lets you understand where the kind of the pecking order on the team and what LeBron thinks about the team. That's really what it lets you understand. Number one, if the Lakers want their coach to be respected, they have to enforce that. They need to enforce it the same way the Miami Heat did. I think at one point, LeBron wanted Eric Spoelstra fired. Do you know who stepped in and said, no, he's going to be the coach? Who? Pat Riley. Pat Riley's a no-nonsense kind of guy. So if the Lakers want to have an environment where their head coach is respected, the only way that happens is if they themselves empower him. Right? They have to empower him. They need to make it clear he's the head coach. But the Lakers don't do that. And I think what's happening now is that you're witnessing a cultural shift within the organization. Right? You witness because the former leadership was incompetent. All right. They were not a serious set of people. Hence the reason they were able to let this guy run their organization into the ground and turn it into the clown show that it became. And the biggest example of that was them drafting Bronny James for no other reason except to appease LeBron. But the new ownership that's coming in, I believe that they're behind LeBron not receiving a contract extension. I believe that they're the ones behind that decision because he wanted one, certainly. He was pissed off about it, right? So we'll have to see how things evolve as the new ownership slowly starts to put their own people within the organization. And as you guys know, whenever a new owner comes in and buys a team, what's one of the first things that they do? They replace all of the old staff and come in there with their own people, right? But I think they're doing this step by step. And we're going to have to see if the new ownership is going to come in here and enforce the idea that the players need to respect their coach, if there's going to be a cultural shift around the organization. But guess what? None of that's really going to matter because LeBron won't be there in the future. So who cares? TPUSA went down about a week or so ago. And you had a bunch of speakers there talking and going back and forth with one another. You had Vivek Ramaswamy, J.D. Vance, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Ben Shapiro, just to name a few, right? But there was one person that made an appearance at TPUSA that shocked everyone. People absolutely lost their minds when they saw who? Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj come out on stage to have an interview or conversation, dialogue with Erica Kirk, the late Charlie Kirk's wife. And a lot of us were like, Nicki Minaj at TPUSA? Well, what did I miss here? Well, as it turns out, Nicki Minaj is now a conservative. And she was up there saying things that had everybody scratching their head, like Donald Trump is so handsome, and J.D. Vance and Donald Trump are great role models for young men. And she was up there talking about Christianity and all of that. And I'm saying to myself, does Nicki Minaj know where she's at? Is she aware of where she's at? Well, her comments, and there were a lot of them, and we're not going to play all of them, set the internet ablaze. So what we want to do is want to play a little bit of what Nicki Minaj had to say. Guys, I want to be honest with you. I couldn't make it past this full audio my damn self. So I'm going to ask you guys to be better people than me to listen to, because after like the first 30 seconds, I was like, I'm tired already. Take a listen to Nicki Minaj here quickly, and then when to come back and react to her comments. Just take a listen to this nonsense quickly.
What is something that you want to leave as a legacy in this world for your family, for your baby, for just everything?
Well, that it's okay to change your mind. Yeah, it's okay to change your mind. You don't have to, sometimes there's a lot of things projected onto you when you change your own mind. They project fear, shame onto people who don't think and do as they think and do. But I've traveled the world. I've performed for huge crowds all around the world. And no matter how many songs I do on that stage, it didn't mean as much as this. Because this is a direct link for younger people. This is a direct link between young people and God. And there's been a lack of that. There's been a lack of that in our media, in our everyday conversations. People have been, interestingly enough, people have been, Christians have been being persecuted right here in our country in different ways. So when we talk about Nigeria and other countries, know that prior administrations saw nothing wrong with that. And that's what was wrong with them. I truly feel that there are people out there who felt good about chastising Christians right here in our country. And it's kind of really, really sick We can't let people like that be in power, you guys. That's the truth. I can sugarcoat it and laugh and kiki, but the truth is, I am here today to tell you guys that. We absolutely cannot let people who have a problem with us worshiping God, we cannot have them in power. We cannot have them in power. All you have to do is look at what is happening in other places in the world. Look at what is being done to Christians all around the world. And ask yourself why people in this country that were in positions of power felt so comfortable to try to take our voices from us. They were that afraid. They are that intimidated. They are that insecure. They are that small inside that hearing us and seeing us worship God irritated them. Our spirit irritates them because when we speak, they get shown up. When the truth walks in the room, the lies hide.
Fantastic. So you heard what she had to say. What the is Nicki Minaj talking about here? What was she talking about? Do you know? I don't know. I don't know. Like when JD Vance went up there and he said, white people don't no longer have to be ashamed to say they're white. And I said to myself, when have white people ever been ashamed to say they're white? When? What period was that in American history? Was it at the inception? Was it during slavery? Was it during the civil rights movement? Was it during the 80s and 90s? When did white people feel like it wasn't okay to say that they're white? When did that happen? Now, what white men felt was they were under attack. A lot of that had to do with the whole Me Too movement and all of that, but that was something different because that was just an attack on men in general. And of course, you had a lot of weak-minded men that went along with it because a lot of them wanted the virtue signal. But I don't remember any time in American history where white people felt ashamed to say that they're white. Now, what I have noticed over the last year and a half is that a lot of racists have felt emboldened ever since Trump came back into office to espouse their racist views. That I have noticed. I've seen a lot of racists stand up and confidently say, I'm racist. Like as if it's a badge of honor. I've noticed that. I hope that's not what JD Vance is referring to. I've experienced it, some of it myself. We did a show not too long ago, and somebody messaged me. Somebody messaged me, and I posted a picture of my daughter with me and my daughter. My daughter is like less than 2 years old. And this dude, this white guy, wrote in a comment, something yuck. His ugly ass wrote that to me. And I said to myself, he said rut and yuck and then monkey or something like that. I'm like, wow, 2 years, I would have never heard nothing like this before. Why do you think that is? So if that's what JD Vance is talking about, then I get your point. Because yes, now you have a lot of racist whites that are out here saying it with their chest out. And of course, you have a lot of, we're not going to use the words, but they look like a certain animals that sound like moon. And they're all acting like as if they don't know what's going on. So maybe that's what he's referring to. But anyway, back to Nicki Minaj. I want to point your attention to the title. Because maybe Nicki Minaj missed the memo here. But Nicki, do you know that if those people found out that you were an undocumented immigrant that came to the United States, they would have your ass deported? Are you aware that as of today, I had to Google it? Is Nicki Minaj a U.S. citizen? And it says, Minaj was born in Trinidad and Tobago and moved to the United States as a child. Minaj previously wrote on Instagram in 2018 she came to the U.S. as an illegal immigrant at 5 years old. People magazine, I read a report. In 2024, during a TikTok live, Minaj reportedly said she is not a U.S. citizen. That's what she said. Now, I want to quickly read from an article from Fortune. And it says, no, excuse me, not an article from Fortune. I want to quickly read an article from CNN. And it says, how Nicki Minaj went from Trump critic to the president's biggest fan. And it continues on. I'm just going to skim through this quickly. It says, back in 2020, Nicki Minaj says she was not going to jump on the Trump bandwagon after years of calling out his anti-immigration policies. 5 years later, she's singing the president's praise as a full-throated MAGA supporter. What gives? The rapper was effusive in her praise of Trump during an interview this weekend by Erica Kirk, the widow of slain conservative figure Charlie Kirk, at Turning Point USA's America Fest convention held in Phoenix, Arizona. She called him handsome and dashing, and also shared her admiration for Vice President J.D. Vance. I love both of them, Minaj said. Both of them have a very uncanny ability to be someone that you relate to. Then continued on. She was rewarded praise by Vance, who said on X that Minaj said something at AmFest that was really profound. What did she say that was profound? Listen to her speak. Does she sound like somebody that can say things that are profound? Let's continue on. She has been reveling in the attention, reposting a claim that she gained more than 100,000 followers amid her newfound MAGA support. The world looked very different 15 years ago when Minaj used Trump, then a private citizen and reality TV star, as an example of misogyny against women in the entertainment industry. During a scene for MTV's documentary My Time Now, which traced Minaj's roots from her native Trinidad and Tobago to superstar rapper, she offered up her thoughts on how assertive women are viewed as as opposed to men who are thought of as powerful for the same behavior. Donald Trump can say you're fired. Let Martha Stewart run her company and say the same way and be the same way, she said, invoking Trump's catchphrase from the hit NBC reality show The Apprentice. But Donald Trump, he gets to hang out with the young explicit and have 50 different wives and just be cool. Minaj has mixed feelings when Billboard asked her in 2015 how she felt about Trump's surging presidential campaign. There are points he has made that may have not been so horrible if his approach wasn't so childish. But in terms of entertainment, I think he's hilarious. I wish they could just film him running for president. That's the ultimate reality show. And then it goes on to say this. She took a decisively more critical view the following year in a freestyle remix released in November 2016, the same month Trump was elected to his first presidential term. Island Girl Donald Trump Want Me to Go Home, she rapped on Black Barbies, a freestyle remix to Ray Schmurd's Black Beatles. It then continues on. I came to this country as an illegal immigrant. I can't imagine the horror of being in a strange place and having my parents stripped away from me at the age of 5, she reportedly wrote in the caption of a photo showing young children separated from their parents at the border being detained. Minaj deactivated her Instagram account on October 2025, and then it went on to say a few things. So let me get this straight. Undocumented immigrant Nicki Minaj is now a Donald Trump supporter. Is Nicki Minaj aware that if she was espousing Democratic views, they would try to get her ass deported? Is she aware of that? Number one. Number two, I gotta say this. I'm amazed at all of these immigrants that are coming from all these different countries coming here and feeling like, oh, I got to support. They don't like you. Let me repeat. They don't like you. They don't want you there. They don't want you there. When are y'all going to get the memo? And Nicki Minaj, of all people, who according to reports is still not a U.S. citizen and came to the United States as an undocumented immigrant, is supporting Donald Trump and J.D. Vance? Are you even serious? Then she's over there commenting on what's happening in Nigeria. What? does Nicki Minaj know about what's happening in northern Nigeria? What does she know? What does she know? What does she know? And y'all gonna sit here and listen to her. Y'all gonna sit up here and listen to her. I wish y'all the best for the people that think that she says something. Nicki Minaj, a person that they would deport in a heartbeat. Let them let another person from Trinidad and Tobago be in America, undocumented, and they gonna deport their asses. But because it's Nicki Minaj and she gonna go up there and say whatever they like, they gonna keep her. We are back again. And today we're going to be talking about something that has been weighing heavily on my mind over the last few days. As you guys know, some of you may be aware, I'm not going to assume all of you saw the video. We recently released a show reacting to the back and forth between various speakers at TPUSA. You had Ben Shapiro calling out Nick Fuentes, going to Tucker Carlson. You had Megyn Kelly trying to play peacemaker. You had Tucker Carlson firing back at Ben Shapiro. All of these things were happening on the stage, right? And it just looked like a total mess because it seemed like a party divided when they're supposed to be galvanizing support for one another, for the president, given the fact that polling has been showing that his disapproval rating is in the toilet can right now. One would think that these guys will come together, but they have so many clashing ideas. One of them has to do with the cover-up of the administration of the Jeffrey Epstein files. Then you have some people that feel like people like Ben Shapiro and people within his coalition are Israel first versus America first. So it's been an entire mess. But amongst that, there were other speakers there as well. Vivek Ramaswamy and Vice President J.D. Vance. Now, as you guys know, about 3 weeks ago, 2 to 3 weeks ago, we reacted to the viral interview between Piers Morgan and Nick Fuentes. And during their exchange, or during that interview, Nick Fuentes said a lot of inflammatory things. And I basically said that he got his ass handed to him in that interview. Some people felt like he did, and I felt like those people are delusional. He got his ass handed to him. Piers was able to expose a lot of the hypocrisy within him. For example, saying that everyone is racist except his dad. It's like, really, this what we're doing? Like, everyone is racist except his own dad, right? And a bunch of other things. But anyway, during that interview and in other places, you have had Nick Fuentes taking shots at J.D. Vance's wife. Now, why would he be taking shots at J.D. Vance's wife, one may ask? Well, the reason is very simple. The reason that he's been doing that is because J.D. Vance's wife is an Indian, okay? Not only is she an Indian, but she's also not a Christian, which became a perfect opportunity for people like Nick Fuentes and like-minded people like him to basically trash his wife. And that's what Nick Fuentes has been doing over the months now, over the last few weeks, years, whatever. Not weeks, but over the last few months. So what we want to do is we want to play a quick compilation of some of the things that Nick Fuentes has said about J.D. Vance's wife, because it ties into what happened at TPUSA. So what we want to do is we want to play that for you guys now, and then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to Nick Fuentes here.
And who's going to take over after Trump? J.D. Vance with his Indian wife. And look, I'm not a racist guy, so I'm not saying like ignorantly, oh, you have an Indian wife, F you. I'm saying what kind of values does a man have to marry somebody that far outside your race who isn't even a Christian? It says something about your values. I'm sorry, but people say he's this rural guy from Ohio. You know something? I was raised differently. I was raised with the values that, my parents kind of do expect me to marry. I mean, I don't want to throw my parents under the bus. They'd be fine if I didn't. But it is a value that you marry someone that's like you. You marry someone that's like you. You marry someone that's like the kind of people that you grew up with and like your parents. And you marry a Christian. What kind of man marries somebody that isn't a Christian? What kind of man marries somebody named Usha? Clearly, he doesn't value his racial identity, his heritage. Clearly, he doesn't value his religion. He doesn't marry a woman that professes Jesus Christ. What does that say about him? So all they talk about is going to the gym, being a vitalist, fighting the Matrix, India smells bad, all this kind of shit. And now they're all in favor of a fat race mixer who's married to a Jeet who named his son Vivek, who was mentored by a Jewish neocon and a gay fed, Peter Thiel, and the guy's in bed with Israel. And that's your guy? And I'm the controlled opposition, really? Your guy is literally a fat gay race trader who married a Jeet, who works for a gay fed, a Fed informant, a CIA contractor, mentored by a Jewish neocon, and the dude's in bed with Israel. And he wears eyeliner. You know, so Andrew Tate said the Groypers need to go to the gym. Dude, J.D. Vance needs... J.D. Vance also has a non-white wife, an Indian wife, and a kid named Vivek. All his kids have Indian names. So it's like, what exactly are we getting here? And that's not a dig at him just because I'm a racist or something. But it's like, who is this guy really? Do we really expect that the guy who has an Indian wife and named their kid Vivek is going to support white identity? Like, there's a white genocide going on in the world. White people are being systematically replaced in America and Europe through immigration and to a much lesser extent due to intermarrying. This guy has a non-white wife and a kid named Vivek. This guy is going to be a defender of white identity? I don't think so. This guy's going to defend American identity? If he does, it's going to be no better than any of these other civic nationalists like Vivek Ramaswamy. How else could you countenance American identity if you have a mixed up family like that?
Fantastic. So you heard what he had to say. So during J.D. Vance's monologue at TPUSA, some people, not a lot, some people thought that this would be a good opportunity for him to respond to bigots and racists that feel a certain type of way about him, about his wife, who happens to be an Indian woman. But instead, what J.D. Vance did was he just ran away from it. He didn't really want to address it on stage. He addressed it somewhere else, which we're going to get to momentarily, but he didn't address it on the stage because he knew that if he really said what he wanted to say, he may alienate some of the people in the audience. But there was one person that did decide to stand up for J.D. Vance's wife. Can you imagine a married man? You don't have it within yourself to defend your wife, so another man has to come out here and defend your wife. Bro, what is going on in the world these days, folks? Vivek Ramaswamy had to be the one to go out there and defend J.D. Vance's wife. So for those of you who didn't hear Vivek's response, I'm going to play it for you now, and I'm going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to Vivek here.
If you believe in normalizing hatred towards any ethnic group, toward whites, towards blacks, towards Hispanics, towards Jews, towards Indians, you have no place in the future of the conservative movement. Period. And I will not apologize for that. I will not hedge when I say it. If you believe, and you will forgive me for giving you an exact quote from our online commentator Nick Fuentes, if you believe that Hitler was pretty you have no place in the future of the conservative movement. You can debate foreign aid to Israel all you want. That's fine. That's fair. But you have no place with that level of hatred. You can debate the right resolution of the Russia-Ukraine war, but if you believe Joseph Stalin is someone to look up to, you have no place in the future of the conservative movement. If you call Usha Vance, the second lady of the United States of America, a Jeet, you have no place in the future of the conservative movement.
Fantastic. So you heard what he had to say. Now, apparently, Nick Fuentes went on a tirade over the last week or so, going at Vice President J.D. Vance. Now, why was he going at Vice President J.D. Vance? Well, apparently, J.D. Vance finally had enough and said, you know what? I'm going to finally stand up and defend my wife against this guy who keeps attacking her, right? And attacking me by proxy. So I want to quickly read from an ABC article that says, Vice President Vance says people who attack his wife can eat bleep. Continues on. Vice President J.D. Vance said that anyone who attacks his wife, Second Lady Usha Vance, can eat bleep during his interview with Unheard over the weekend. The comments came after he was asked whether he disavows right-wing podcaster Nick Fuentes, who has made multiple racist comments about Vance's wife and children for their Indian identities. Fuentes' recent comments, including using a racial slur to refer to Usha Vance, have drawn backlash from Republicans such as Vivek Ramaswamy. It then continues on. Vance also called out former Biden White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, who now is host of MS Now. Psaki recently speculated on Vance's marriage during an appearance on I've Had It podcast, and while talking about Vance's presidential ambitions, suggested that Usha Vance may need to be saved. Let's continue on. The little Manchurian candidate, J.D. Vance, wants to be president more than anything else. I always wonder what's going on in the mind of his wife. Are you okay? Please blink 4 times. Come over here. We will save you. And that he's willing to do anything to get there, Psaki said on the show. Vance told Unheard, on Fuentes, I've criticized him in the past, but let me be clear. Anyone who attacks my wife, whether their name is Jen Psaki or Nick Fuentes, can eat bleep. That's my official policy as Vice President of the United States, and my attitude towards anybody, again, who is calling for judging people based on their ethnic heritage. Whether they're Jewish or white or anything else, it's disgusting. We shouldn't be doing it. Now, what are my thoughts about this? J.D. Vance seems like a very confused man. He's either confused or he must be drunk or something. Who remembers the sit down that Ann Coulter did with Vivek Ramaswamy about a year ago, where she told him in plain English, in no uncertain terms, I can't vote for you because you're an Indian. She told him to his face. And Vivek tried to play it off like, well, you know, you have a right to your opinion. And like a light bulb didn't go off in his head and say, whoa, 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 whoa. I want to be a part of a coalition that don't like me just because I have an Indian background? Really? No. He just acted like as if, well, that's just one bad apple. We're going to keep it going. Like, you know, that's just one bad. No, it's not just one bad apple. Nick Fuentes is echoing similar sentiments, and if he feels that way, he has this fan base, a support base. Obviously, they feel that way. But the bigger issue is J.D. Vance was not going to call out these people by name and defend his wife on that. He wasn't going to do it. Why? Because the things that Nick Fuentes is saying about him, a lot of people feel that way. Why didn't you marry a white woman, J.D.? That's what they're saying. Why isn't she a Christian? Now, personally, I think Nick Fuentes is insane. He's a racist, and he admitted as much on the Piers Morgan show. So me calling him a racist, I'm not breaking any news here, right? He is a racist, and he said so. He even went on the Valuetainment by Patrick Davis show, and at one point he says something, and Pat looks over at him and goes, yeah, that's a little bit racist. And we're like, yeah, you think so? You think it's a little racist? Like, have you not heard anything that this guy said on the internet at all? At all? So, yes, they have an issue with him marrying an Indian woman. Yes, they have an issue with her not being a Christian. Yes, they have an issue with that. And guess what? It's going to be an issue for him moving forward. If he wants to make a run in the 2028 elections, which all rumors are saying that, it's going to be something that hurts him within his own base. Yes, they're going to judge him because why didn't you marry a white woman that's a Christian? Can you even imagine? So the guy doesn't have the freedom to choose who he wants to marry. This is what we're doing here. Now, let me tell you why J.D. Vance married the woman that he married. When he married her, he saw her for who she was, and he loved her. He was open-minded because of love, right? If you go back and listen to some of the things that J.D. Vance said or was saying about President Donald Trump, it'll make a lot of sense why he married who he decided to marry. He was an open-minded guy. He was criticizing the president. He was saying he's bad for the country and all of that. But the moment Trump picked him as his vice presidential pick, he switched it all up. Now, all of a sudden, you will never catch him anywhere making comments like that at all. That's what happened. Politics came into play. My career came into play, so I sold my ass for my career. And that's why he finds himself in a situation that he finds himself in right now. It's insane to me, but these people believe it's something. These people believe it's something. Instead of worrying if this man is a good enough Christian, is he being a good enough? No. Who did you marry? Is she a good person? No. All that matters is that she's white and that she's a Christian. That's all that matters. And these people are judging him for making that decision. Nick Fuentes is talking about who didn't marry a guy that's never, Nick Fuentes even been on a date? Why does his opinion matter on who JD Vance marries? What experience does he have to even talk about that? But this is where we are. JD, I wish you all the best. You're going to have a very interesting presidential run when that comes up in 2020. Oh, we're going to be here waiting to see that. We're going to be here waiting to see if this man is talking about defending the United States but won't defend his wife. We shall see. You're ready to defend the United States, but you're not ready to defend your wife. And when you're on that stage, Vivek Ramaswamy had more balls than you to defend your own wife.